Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Preston Show, episode number 17. Today is a great day. Today's a great day. Government shutdown or not, the millions of Americans are waking up and they're going to work. See, I'm off on Mondays, all right? Believe it or not. I'm off on Mondays. I'm also off on Saturdays. Those are 2 days where I relax and try to get as much done as I can. I like to start off today by doing the podcast. What's better than get a big cup of coffee and do a podcast? Not many things. Ladies and gentlemen, the government is shut down. So for all the anarchists, they're loving it. For anybody that doesn't like the government or this administration, they're loving it. What does it really mean when the government shuts down? Your state government didn't shut down, ladies and gentlemen. The federal government is shut down, and it's partially shut down. It's not a full shutdown. People are still showing up to work. Non-essential employees will not be going to work. I've read the articles. Look, I read everything. I've read the articles. Out of everything I've read, out of all the research I've done, I think Fox News nailed it with what they said about the government shutdown. And as partisan as they are, they're actually very accurate with what the government shutdown means and doing it without blaming anybody. Because it's all about, it's this person's fault, it's a Democrat's fault, it's a Republican's fault, it's everybody's fault, right? Well, it doesn't matter whose fault it is. And the millions of Americans don't care whose fault it is. They just want to see results. That's it. They just want to see results. So what causes a government shutdown from Fox News? Here we go. A shutdown occurs when Congress and the president fail to sign into law 12 appropriations bills in order to continue providing funding for government operations. All right. So if you got the gist of that like I did, the underlying fact there is your money. Okay, when they run out of ways to spend your money wisely, wink, wink, the government shuts down. How can we prevent the government shutdown? Fox News tells us. To avoid a shutdown, members of Congress can give themselves an extension, known as a continuing resolution, or CR. The temporary funding measure keeps the federal government open and allows lawmakers more time to negotiate the remaining appropriations bills. More time on your dime, and they get to eat it up. That's right. They get to eat it up. Politicians are eating it up. Now, basically, the government has been on its way to shut down since October 1st. So since October 1st, the government's been looking like it's going to shut down, and it finally has happened. How long does it last? Ladies and gentlemen, in our history, a government shutdown usually lasts a weekend. Usually lasts 2 days, 2 full days, and then that following business day or sometime during that week, it's back open. So I'm 90% sure the federal government will reopen this week. If not today, the Senate will vote at noon today. So we're going to find out a little after noon whether or not the government's going to reopen back up. And, back to normal, everybody. Back to normal, everybody. Here's Vikings. Go watch this. Here's Nightfall. Go watch this. Here's some other stuff to dumb us down. Here's this new show. It's called Waco. Go watch this. Here's 1,000 commercials. Eat them up, ladies and gentlemen. Eat them up. So they have a great way to dumb us down and keep us stupid while we continue to vote idiots into office and allow them to spend our money. Basically, like, you would spend it if you didn't have any financial responsibilities. The federal government is such a great thing, such a powerful instrument of democracy. To see this take place is basically just depressing, right? Long story short, very depressing. I wouldn't say disheartening because it doesn't last long. And it's Monday. We're already doom and gloomed out because it's Monday. So everybody wants to know, do the federal employees still get paid? Yes. Right? The problem with that is not until the government opens back up, or at least that's what Fox News says. That's what other media outlets have reported as well, so they're not the only ones. Look, how many times has the government shut down? Let's see, 19 times since 1976. And that was the year Congress was introduced. Really, this is just one of these things that shows up. You remember it happened under Obama. This kind of shows up now. It's more common than it's ever been. More depressing than it's ever been. And it just kind of pops up on us. And it's like the biggest distraction this side of the Mississippi, right? It's like the biggest damn distraction from real issues that are taking place. From real things that are going on. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, when it comes down to your money, number one, you going to work for the government is by your own doing. And that also could be your undoing. So, I mean, it's really, that's your call, depending on what you want to do with your life. I don't care. What I'm telling you is you'll never catch me working for the government, all right? Unless I was some politician. You'll never catch me working for the government. No good. What I will tell you is that's the most important thing, and my biggest takeaway from all of this is not only is this a distraction from key elements of democracy that need to take place during this Trump administration, immigration, the biggest part, caving on DACA, is what they're calling it. If Trump works with the Democrats on this, we're going to be caving on DACA at that point. And as a conservative man, I don't believe that. I don't think in any way, shape, or form is it caving on DACA to work with Democrats. Look, I've thought a lot about this. I've talked to a lot of people about this. What it boils down to, and I think this goes for any person in a leadership position. If you're going to lead, you have to be able to make deals and compromise. Now, people who say they'll never go against their values and they'll never go against their systemic beliefs to make a deal or compromise are people that more than likely will, and people that more than likely aren't up for negotiating to begin with, so they use that as a blanket. Okay, so they throw that out there as a blanket statement to cover up all the other insecurities. You hear it all the time in talk radio. People just, hardcore. We're not going to turn on our values. We're not going to turn on our beliefs. I'm going to be the toughest. And those are the people that never get elected. They'll never have a shot. They won't make any difference. And eventually, once they're off whatever radio station they're on, they'll be forgotten. And good riddance. What happens is, if you come into a situation, whatever it is in your life, and you're not willing to compromise, you're not willing to work some deal out, right? Then how far does that really get you? It gets you nowhere. So why do we assume that in politics, doing the opposite of what we do in regular life is going to work? So think about that. Let that digest into your system. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here on the Preston Show. We're not playing around. Folks, what's important to know about millennials in the generation that I'm in and the generations that are coming up in the world is why goals and my generation and the generations coming up just don't mix, right? I'm going to break it down for you. Very simple. Not complex. It's not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. It's not rocket science, and it doesn't have anything to do with video games either. All right, so there's two sides here, right? One side is it has nothing to do with probably what you're thinking it has to do with. The other side is it has everything to do with what you're sleeping on, what you're missing, right? What you're missing. Millennials don't have time for goals. Millennials don't have time to set goals. They're too busy, caught up in the day-to-day life, living, and hopefully out there trying to make a big pile of money. So hopefully that's what they're doing. Hopefully that's what you're doing. And if not, then I question what does your existence mean to you then? If it's not to go and enjoy the fruits of your labor, all right, and instead live off somebody else's labor and continue to live in a sheltered bubble, if that is your goal in life, that is your goal, and you will bear that cross. That's fine with me. I don't care. But it's very, very almost inconceivable that we are in a country that we are asked, not told, to be a functioning citizen in our community. And people refuse to do such an easy task. They refuse to work a little bit harder. They refuse to pick up 5 to 10 hours extra just to make sure they have that savings fund, just to make sure they're putting in that IRA Roth contribution. People fail to do these things, and then they will end up on Skid Row, or they're going to end up somewhere at some dead-end job with some junky boyfriend or some junky girlfriend. And that's what happens, folks. That's what happens. And I've seen it happen, and it's a reality. And if you don't believe it's a reality, you need to go experience a little bit of life. You need to get out a little bit. And I don't mean going to parties, all right? I mean day-to-day interactions with people, real people, all right? Something that politicians, most of them don't have, because they were fed a silver spoon and whatever else they wanted, they got hand over fist. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Preston Show. I bring this to your attention about the Millennial Generation. I speak from the heart as well as the mind, as well as my spirit. There's 3 pillars to all of us. Whether you believe in those pillars or not, again, is your cross to bear. There's your mind, there's your body, and there's your spirit. The things you cannot explain, the way you can't explain how you feel, is your spirit. Your mind is what you think, is how you react to a situation, is how you be proactive upon going into a situation. And your body is every move you make, every breath you take, and everything you see. All right? So to be short, but not to be too curt, you need to take care of your 3 pillars. Point blank, period. It's important that millennials understand that at the end of the day, if you go to bed and you don't feel good about your situation, right? Or you find people that are always complaining, or they always have something to just, they got something that's grinding their gears all the time. You like talking to those people? Do you? Because I'll tell you what, it's not the best conversation in the world. And misery does love company. So you must remember that. Miserable people want people to be miserable around them, and they want you to hear their problems. Listen to all my problems. Here they are. And without warning, now your mind is congested with the diarrhea of somebody else. And it's terrible, ladies and gentlemen. It's terrible. What we have to focus on is the secret of the universe, right? Positivity, right? Think smart, think outside the box, be positive, be happy, good things are coming your way. Oh, it rained today? Well, guess what? It can't rain every day. And if it does, you have no control over that. The only control you have is over your 3 pillars, your mind, your body, and your spirit. Take care of the 3 pillars. They will take care of you. Doesn't have to be religion. Doesn't have to be something sacrificial. Doesn't have to be something that's superstitious. It's reality, it's realistic, and it's pragmatic every step of the way, not problematic. We shortchange each other. We think the worst of each other. This happens in my generation, the Millennial Generation. People say, oh, they missed the curve. These people missed the curve. Their parents failed them. They failed and their parents failed them. Let me tell you something. This happens in every generation. I look out, right? I've seen very smart people. Terrible being a leader. Terrible taking the bull by the horns. I've seen dumb people able to take a pack of people and run them through the muck and God knows wherever else. There's definitely a correlation there. You don't have to be the man with the highest IQ to be the greatest leader by any means. So what does this tell us? What people say, Preston, what are you getting at? Well, this is what I'm getting at. People go to college to get advice about how to run a business. But what they need is a business plan. And instead of grinding it out for 3 years, maybe 5 years, and figuring out the business plan and knowing the market and knowing how it works, they go to college to listen to some schmuck professor, and they listen to him all damn day, and they just fell into his business plan, which is for you to go there and listen to him. And everything he's got to spill out of his fat mouth. And that's what you'll go and do. And you'll grow up and you'll tell your kids that's what you should do. Don't be an entrepreneur. They never make it. Go to business school if you want to start a business. They'll teach you how to do it. And no, they won't. No, they won't. They won't teach you how to do it. You'll come out of there with so much debt, with so much riding on you, you won't know which way to turn. Your head will be on a swivel so much that you won't be able to sleep right. Talk about running a business. Talk about the pains of running a business. You want business advice, get the advice from people who run businesses in your area. Get the advice from people who are all over the damn internet with every damn group, with everything you can get that you could get at that damn prestigious university that you want to put up on your wall to say that you went there. But really, you're not smarter than the guy next door who works for the damn garbage company. And I tell people this because I love you. I love all of you. And I'm telling you this because if you don't listen now, if it doesn't take a hold of you today, then somewhere along the line, it's going to bite you in the ass. I've seen it happen to the smartest men. I've seen it happen to the dumbest men, and vice versa for women. It's up to each one of us to inspire each other. If you see your friend doing something wrong, you don't encourage that crap. You say, you're doing something stupid, you idiot. Let's get on the right page here. You're going to get us all in trouble. Takes one idiot to bring a whole town down. Imagine what one idiot can do to your life. Pay attention to what's going on. You're looking out in the world and people are filling your head with this nonsense. They're filling them. Every one of my millennial friends I have, his head is filled with nonsense. From the news, from the media, from some adult that they just met off the damn street. And they lose their self in it. Not to quote a stupid Eminem song, but they lose their self in it. And I'm sick of seeing it, and I'm sick of hearing it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Preston Show. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. We will have another great show for you on Wednesday. Again, it's always a joy to do this. I love doing the podcast. I love to broadcast. And stay tuned. My novel is almost complete, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. My novel, A Badge in the Shadows, is almost complete. And when it is released, believe me, you will know. You will know. And the closest people to the show and the closest people to me will know first. But other than that, you will see it. It'll be out there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to leave you with this. My afterthought for the day. Until we meet again on Wednesday. When you find yourself in a bad spot, if you're someone like me who doesn't have anybody to lean on, Like, unless you believe in God, and, I do, so, I can't really say I don't have anybody. But let's talk about physical presence for a second. If you physically don't have someone to lean on, this is why you need to write down your goals. This is why you need to write down your values and what you value the most. You need to look at that every day. You need to live it, and you need to speak it into existence. And if anybody tries to stop you, you tell them to come talk to me. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the Preston Show, episode number 17. Episode number 18 is on Wednesday. Just like the hands of time, I'm turning it over to you.